6 fruits seniors must eat or avoid to lower creatinine naturally. Yup, that's the title. And if you're over 60, this might be the most important health video you watch all week. You've heard that fruits are healthy, right? But what if I told you that some fruits, yes, even the ones you think are good for you, could actually be raising your creatinine and quietly stressing your kidneys? Shocking. It's more common than you think. I've seen seniors doing all the right things, eating clean, drinking smoothies, staying hydrated, yet their kidney numbers keep getting worse. Meanwhile, others make just a few smart swaps and see their labs improve in just a few months. What's the secret? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. We're diving into the top 6 you should absolutely eat more of, and 6 you might need to stay far away from, especially if your creatinine levels are creeping up. And by the way, this isn't just theory. I've got patient stories, real-life case studies, and simple at-home tips that'll help you protect your kidneys without giving up the joy of fruit. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. But before we jump into the juicy stuff, pun intended, do me a favor, hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs it. And subscribe so we can keep making videos that help you live stronger, longer, and healthier. Oh, and quick quiz, can you guess the one tropical fruit that's banned for dialysis patients in many hospitals? We'll reveal it in just a minute, and the reason why will blow your mind. All right, ready? Let's get started. Understanding creatinine and kidney function. Creatinine is a waste product that forms when your muscles use energy. It enters your bloodstream and is filtered out by your kidneys. Under normal conditions, this process happens efficiently and without any issues. But when your kidneys begin to lose function, even slightly, creatinine builds up in your blood. This is often the first measurable sign of declining kidney health. For most adults, normal creatinine levels range between 0.6 and 1.2 mg/dl. Higher numbers suggest your kidneys are struggling to do their job. So what causes creatinine to rise? Several common factors are involved. Chronic kidney disease, CKD, is the most frequent cause, followed by dehydration, high blood pressure, diabetes, and even frequent use of over-the-counter medications like NSAIDs, such as ibuprofen. All of these either damage the kidneys over time or reduce their blood flow, making it harder for them to function properly. According to the CDC, nearly 1 in 7 adults in the U.S. has CKD, and most don't even realize it. That's why understanding creatinine isn't just about lab numbers. It's about protecting a vital part of your body before symptoms appear. As a physician, I often tell my patients that kidney care doesn't start with dialysis. It starts with daily choices. What you eat, how well you hydrate, and how you manage conditions like diabetes and hypertension. I'll ask questions like, do you know how much potassium you're eating every day? Or, are you sipping water consistently or just drinking a large glass before bed? Most people don't know until it's too late, so let me ask you. Have you ever been told your creatinine was high? Did your doctor explain why? Have you made any changes to your diet or medications because of it? Drop your answers in the comments. We learn better when we learn together. The good news is that food can be a powerful ally. Coming up next, I'll show you 6 fruits that can help support your kidneys and 6 that could be making things worse. Let's take a look. 6 fruits that support kidney health. Number 1. Cranberries. Cranberries are one of the best fruits you can include in a kidney-friendly diet. They're rich in proanthocyanidins, compounds that prevent bacteria from sticking to the urinary tract, which helps reduce infections that could otherwise spread to the kidneys. They also have anti-inflammatory properties and may lower proteinuria, an early sign of kidney damage. With only about 85 mg of potassium per cup, they're safe for most people with kidney concerns. I've seen this firsthand with a patient of mine, Martha, 68, who had recurring UTIs and a gradually rising creatinine level. After she started drinking a small amount of diluted, unsweetened cranberry juice daily, her UTIs stopped and her creatinine stabilized. Research supports this too. Studies have shown that cranberry extract can reduce urinary infections and support kidney health. But not all cranberry products are created equal. Many juices on the shelf are full of sugar and additives that can do more harm than good. I always tell patients, check the label and go for 100% cranberry juice with no added sugar. Have you ever used cranberry juice for kidney or urinary health? Are you reading labels before you buy? Drop a comment and let me know. Your experience could help someone else. Number 2. Apples. Apples are one of the best fruits for people with kidney concerns thanks to their high pectin content, a type of soluble fiber that helps bind toxins in the gut and keeps them from entering the bloodstream. This reduces the workload on your kidneys and supports overall detoxification. A small apple has about 195 mg of potassium, which is generally safe for those managing potassium intake. I often recommend apples in various forms, but one method stands out. John, a 73-year-old patient of mine, had slowly rising creatinine and persistent fatigue. We added a simple habit to his routine, boiled apple water with a touch of cinnamon. Within 6 months, his lab results improved noticeably, and he felt better overall. Research backs this up. Compounds in apples like fluoridin have shown promise in protecting kidney tissue from oxidative stress. I always ask patients, do you eat apples raw, or are you getting them through sugar-filled juices or processed snacks? If phosphorus is a concern, peeling the apple can help since most of it is in the skin. Skip the store-bought apple juice. It lacks fiber and spikes blood sugar. Try baked apples or that boiled apple drink as a warm, kidney-friendly option. Have you used apples as part of your kidney care? Share your favorite way to prepare them. We might just inspire someone else. Number 3. Limes. Limes are a smart addition to a kidney-friendly diet because they help prevent kidney stones and support a more alkaline environment in the body. They're naturally high in citric acid, which binds with calcium in the urine and lowers the risk of calcium oxalate stone formation. With only about 68 mg of potassium per fruit, they're a safe option for those watching potassium levels. I often tell my patients to squeeze half a fresh lime into a glass of water and drink it before meals. It's a simple habit that can make a real difference. One of my patients, Donna, 66, had frequent kidney stones even on medication. After adding lime water to her daily routine, she stayed stone-free for over a year. Studies from UCLA also support the use of citric acid in preventing kidney stone recurrence. But be careful, bottled lime juice often contains preservatives that can irritate the kidneys. Fresh is best. Are you using real citrus or relying on sugary mixes and bottled drinks? Have you noticed a difference in your hydration or digestion since trying lime water? Share your experience. It could help someone else stay one step ahead of kidney trouble. Number 4. Blueberries. Blueberries are packed with antioxidants, especially anthocyanins, which help protect kidney cells from oxidative stress and inflammation. With only about 114 mg of potassium per cup, they're a safe and smart choice for people managing kidney issues. I've seen great results when patients use blueberries as a substitute for processed, sugary snacks. One example is Lisa, a 60-year-old patient who was dealing with high blood pressure and a sweet tooth. She started replacing her afternoon cookies with a small bowl of fresh blueberries, and over time, her blood pressure stabilized and her energy improved. Studies have shown that regular blueberry consumption is linked to better heart and blood vessel health, both critical for maintaining proper kidney function. Frozen blueberries are just as effective as fresh, as long as they don't contain added sugars. I often ask my patients, are your snacks helping your health or working against it? Have you tried making this switch yourself? Let me know if blueberries have worked for you. It could inspire someone else to make a healthier choice. Number 5. Strawberries. Strawberries are a refreshing and kidney-friendly fruit, rich in antioxidants, particularly vitamin C and ellagic acid, which help reduce inflammation and protect the body's tissues, including the kidneys. With about 150 mg of potassium per cup, they're a safe choice for most people managing their kidney function. Their natural sweetness makes them an ideal alternative to sugary desserts, and they blend well into smoothies or make satisfying frozen snacks. In my practice, I've seen patients improve their overall nutrition simply by adding strawberries into their routines. One patient, Elaine, 64, started making her own frozen strawberry pops using just blended berries and a splash of lemon. It helped her control cravings, reduce processed sugar intake, and even improved her hydration. Science backs this up too. Research published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that regular strawberry consumption may reduce markers of oxidative stress and inflammation, both key drivers of kidney disease progression. I often ask patients, when you reach for something sweet, is it nourishing or harming your kidneys? Are you reading labels or just assuming fruit-flavored snacks are healthy? Have you tried making your own smoothie or frozen treat using strawberries? If so, how did it go? Let's hear your creative ways to enjoy this powerhouse fruit. Number 6. Pineapple. Pineapple is a great choice for kidney support when eaten in moderation. It contains bromelain, a natural enzyme that aids digestion, reduces inflammation, and helps manage fluid retention, benefits that are especially helpful for people with kidney concerns. 1 cup of fresh pineapple has about 180 mg of potassium, which is considered moderate and safe if portioned wisely. I always recommend choosing fresh pineapple over canned, as the latter often includes added sugars or syrup that can put unnecessary strain on your kidneys. Glenn, a 69-year-old patient, added small servings of fresh pineapple to his lunch and noticed less bloating and better digestion. Studies also show that bromelain supports heart health, which is closely linked to kidney function. I like to ask patients, are your fruit choices working for your health or against it? Are you checking for hidden sugars in what you eat? If you've tried using pineapple in healthy meals or snacks, what's your favorite way to enjoy it? Let's help each other make smarter fruit choices. 6 fruits you must avoid. Number 1. Avocado. Avocados, though praised for their healthy fats, are surprisingly risky for people with kidney issues due to their extremely high potassium content, about 708 mg per 100 grams. That's more than many patients with CKD should consume in an entire meal. I remember a patient named Sandra who thought she was making a smart move by adding avocado to her smoothies. Within a month, her potassium levels spiked to unsafe levels, and we had to completely adjust her diet. The problem is how easily avocados sneak into daily meals, from toast and salads to smoothies and dips. Even store-bought guacamole often contains added salt and potassium-based preservatives, increasing the burden on the kidneys. A 2020 study in CJASN warned that potassium from unsuspected sources is one of the biggest challenges for kidney patients today. I always ask my patients, do you know how much potassium you're actually getting? Are you choosing foods that match your kidney goals or just assuming anything natural is safe? If you've had a similar experience or found a better alternative to avocado, share it. It could be the tip someone else needs. Number 2. Grapes, raisins, wine, grape juice. Grapes might look like a smart snack, but for people with kidney concerns, they can cause more harm than good. 1 cup of grapes contains about 288 mg of potassium, and because they're so easy to overeat, many people end up consuming way more than they realize. They're also high in natural sugars, which can spike blood sugar and increase metabolic waste, both of which put stress on the kidneys. I remember Rose, a 66-year-old patient who drank grape juice every morning thinking it was a healthy habit. Within just a month, her creatinine levels spiked dramatically, and she felt more fatigued than usual. Even raisins and wine, which are just concentrated forms of grapes, carry the same risks, often with even more sugar and potassium in a smaller volume. Grape juice lacks fiber, meaning the sugar hits your system faster, and wine adds alcohol into the mix, which the kidneys must also process. Research consistently shows that high-sugar diets can worsen kidney function over time. I often ask my patients, do you track the fruits you drink as closely as the ones you eat? Are you unknowingly sipping your way into higher potassium and sugar loads? Being mindful of these choices could make all the difference. Number 3. Starfruit. Starfruit may appear harmless and even beautiful with its star shape, but it's one of the most dangerous fruits for anyone with kidney disease. It contains a neurotoxin called caramboxin, which healthy kidneys can usually filter out. But when kidney function is impaired, this toxin builds up in the body and can lead to serious neurological symptoms. I had a patient named Paul, 65 years old, who unknowingly drank tea containing dried starfruit. Within hours, he experienced confusion, persistent hiccups, and eventually seizures. We later traced it back to the starfruit in the tea, a fruit he never thought to question. Clinical studies have confirmed that even small amounts of starfruit can cause harmful effects in people with chronic kidney disease, including vomiting, mental disorientation, and in severe cases, coma. What's especially troubling is that starfruit often hides in tropical juice blends or is used as garnish in fruit salads, where it's rarely labeled clearly. I always advise my patients, if you're living with kidney issues, avoid starfruit entirely in all forms, fresh, dried, juiced, or powdered. Have you ever checked the label on your favorite tropical drink? Are you sure it's free of hidden dangers? When it comes to starfruit, it's better to be safe than sorry. Number 4. Bananas. Bananas are widely considered a healthy snack, but for those with kidney issues, they pose a serious concern. Each banana contains about 422 mg of potassium, which is a significant amount, especially for someone with impaired kidney function. Because bananas are so commonly added to smoothies, breakfast bowls, and snacks, they often contribute to unintentional potassium overload. Many patients I work with are surprised to learn that a single banana can tip their potassium levels over the safe limit for the day, particularly when combined with other potassium-rich foods. Excess potassium, or hyperkalemia, can cause muscle weakness, abnormal heart rhythms, and in severe cases, cardiac arrest. I always ask, have you considered how many sources of potassium are in your daily diet? If you're managing chronic kidney disease, it's essential to track this closely. Instead of bananas, opt for fruits like apples or berries, which offer flavor and fiber without the potassium burden. Smoothies can still be part of a healthy routine. Just be sure they're tailored to your kidney health needs. Number 5. Oranges/orange juice. Oranges may seem like a healthy choice thanks to their vitamin C, but for people with kidney issues, they can be a hidden risk. A medium orange contains about 237 mg of potassium, and when eaten alongside other potassium-rich foods, it can contribute to potassium buildup in the blood. Orange juice, often considered a healthy drink, is even more concerning. It lacks fiber, which causes the natural sugars to be absorbed more quickly, spiking blood sugar and increasing the metabolic burden on the kidneys. Many patients I've worked with drink orange juice daily thinking it boosts immunity, but the high sugar and potassium content can actually do more harm than good. One patient, Gloria, cut out her morning orange juice and switched to infused water with lemon. Within 3 months, her energy improved and her creatinine levels stabilized. If you're managing chronic kidney disease, it's best to limit or avoid oranges and stick with lower potassium citrus options like limes. Always check your drinks. Are you drinking something you assume is healthy but may actually be stressing your kidneys? Number 6. Mango. Mango might be delicious, but it's not kidney-friendly. Each cup contains around 168 mg of potassium and carries a high glycemic load, making it risky for people with chronic kidney disease or diabetes. The natural sugars in mango break down quickly in the body, leading to spikes in blood sugar and increased kidney stress. What's more, mango is often hidden in tropical smoothies, fruit blends, and even energy bars, meaning people may be consuming more of it than they realize. I once treated a patient, Mark, who drank mango-based smoothies daily, thinking they were a healthy choice. Over time, his blood sugar and potassium crept up, putting him at greater risk. Once we swapped mango for lower glycemic fruits like strawberries and paired them with fiber, his labs improved significantly. If you're managing kidney health, be mindful of fruit blends and always check ingredient labels. Are you unknowingly consuming high glycemic fruits that could be sabotaging your progress? 2 bonus lifestyle tips. 1. Smart hydration. Proper hydration is a simple yet powerful way to support kidney health, but many people do it wrong. Chugging large amounts of water at once can dilute blood sodium levels and overwhelm the kidneys, especially in those with reduced function. Instead, sip water consistently throughout the day. A reliable formula is 30-35 ml of water per kilogram of body weight daily, unless your doctor recommends a fluid restriction. For example, someone weighing 150 pounds, 68 kg, should aim for about 2-3 liters per day. Bonus tip, take a light walk after hydrating. Movement promotes better fluid distribution and circulation, helping your body filter waste more efficiently. Are you pacing your water intake or still trying to drink a day's worth all at once? Try setting phone reminders or using marked water bottles to space out your hydration. 2. Epsom salt foot soaks. This underrated remedy can be a game changer, especially for seniors or anyone experiencing muscle cramps or high stress levels. Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate, absorbed through the skin during a warm 15-20-minute foot soak can promote relaxation, improve circulation, and help regulate blood pressure. Magnesium is often deficient in people with kidney problems, and supplementing transdermally avoids stressing the digestive system. I've had patients report better sleep and less swelling after just a few weeks of consistent soaks. However, if you have diabetes or open wounds on your feet, avoid this method as it could increase infection risk. Always use plain, unscented Epsom salt, no added fragrances or dyes. Have you tried Epsom soaks before? If not, this might be the simple habit that helps your kidneys more than you expect. Real patient stories. Sometimes the most powerful lessons come not from research papers, but from the lives of real people making small, consistent changes. Harold, 76, began adding lime water to his morning routine and made a conscious effort to reduce his salt intake. Over 9 months, his creatinine dropped by 0.4, a remarkable improvement for someone in stage 3 kidney disease. When he started, he didn't believe something as simple as citrus water could make a difference. Now he swears by it. Linda, 65, had always believed fruit was universally healthy. But after learning about the potassium load in oranges and grapes, she swapped them for lower potassium, antioxidant-rich options like pineapple and blueberries. Within weeks, she noticed better sleep quality and more stable energy throughout the day. It's not just about what you eat, it's about how your body reacts to it. Tom, 72, struggled with stagnant lab results for nearly 2 years. Frustrated, he began tracking his hydration more carefully and added Epsom salt foot soaks to his weekly routine. For the first time in years, his lab numbers improved. His doctor even reduced the frequency of his checkups. These stories show that personalized tweaks, not extreme diets, often bring the most sustainable results. So what's one small change you could try this week? Is there a habit here that resonates with your own journey? Every adjustment counts. Summary cheat sheet. Choosing the right fruits and daily habits can make a major difference in managing kidney health. Fruits like cranberries, apples, limes, blueberries, strawberries, and pineapple are excellent options because they're low in potassium and packed with antioxidants and fiber. These fruits support the kidneys without overwhelming them, making them safe choices for most people with chronic kidney disease. On the other hand, avocados, grapes, and related products like raisins and wine, starfruit, bananas, oranges, and mangoes can be harmful. They either contain high levels of potassium, sugar, or, like starfruit, dangerous neurotoxins that kidneys with reduced function can't handle. Even though these fruits are often marketed as healthy, they can quietly worsen kidney function if not consumed with caution. Supporting your kidneys goes beyond food. Hydration matters, but it's not just about how much you drink, it's how you drink. Sipping water steadily throughout the day helps your kidneys filter more effectively and avoids the sudden overload that can come from chugging. Additionally, Epsom salt foot soaks a few times a week offer a gentle way to relax muscles and deliver magnesium through the skin, which can help regulate blood pressure and improve circulation. I often tell my patients, be proactive, not reactive. Are you making food choices that truly support your lab results? Is your hydration routine actually helping or unknowingly hurting your kidneys? Even one small change can lead to meaningful improvements over time. So there you have it, 6 fruits every senior should either welcome onto their plate or keep far, far away. It's not just about what's healthy anymore, it's about what's kidney smart for you. To recap, eat more cranberries, apples, limes, blueberries, strawberries, and pineapple. Avoid avocados, grapes, and raisins, starfruit, bananas, oranges, and mango. And don't forget, smart hydration and Epsom salt foot soaks. Total game changers. Your kidneys work 24/7 without complaining, but once they start slipping, every food choice matters. The good news? Small, consistent changes can help you feel better, sleep better, and live with more energy, even with chronic kidney disease. Now I'd love to hear from you. What fruits surprised you the most today? Drop your thoughts in the comments or share your own kidney journey. Your story might inspire someone else. And hey, if this video helped you, imagine how much it could help someone else. So don't keep it to yourself, like the video to show your support. Share it with a friend, caregiver, or family member. And hit subscribe to join our growing community of seniors who want to stay healthy, informed, and empowered. Thanks so much for watching. Stay strong, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video with more practical tips to keep your kidneys and your life running smoothly.